Well,
Yeah, so it should get interesting here in the next few games.
well, it's the last L&D talk of 2023. L&D is in full swing. Rosters are shaping up. How are we feeling going into year 3 or midway through year 3?
I mean, I got to be honest. After the draft, I was feeling good. I felt like we did really, really good in the draft, and now not so good. Feel like my team sucks.
Yeah, you did have two back-to-back tough opponents to play. It
I would
doesn't
like to
help.
hear how C-Mart feels about this season.
Uh, so I mean, all things considered, uh, the beginning of the season's been good for my team, better than I expected, but it's going to fall off a cliff here in the back half, more than likely. Um, as everyone knows by now, roster mismanagement on my part caused me to have 36 players. So I've been in violation of the rules, so I'm getting players nerfed every game. And yeah, I'm having to get creative. But I think right now we're sitting at 5-1 or 6-1, maybe 5-1, maybe 4-1. I don't remember, something in one. But got BL coming up here, so I expect that to be a loss. And I guess the one silver lining is that I am able to get my young guys playing. So I'm hoping by virtue of that, some of these backups will get some devs this year. And then next year, when I get everybody back, my team might actually be loaded. So
I
we're
think
looking
C-Mart has
beyond
a
this.
better record than I do with no fucking players.
Yeah, well, my roster or the way my season's going, I'm just trying to win as much as I can uh, until I leave for next Friday. That way, because I think if I did the math right, I'm taking 4 losses, all 4 against divisional foes too. So that's always fun. So I'll either barely win my division or I'll end up losing my division by then be a wild card team or barely make the playoffs. I don't know. We'll see. The NFC's been surprising this Madden. I figured the AFC to be a lot stronger than what they are, but we'll see. Um, what 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 is y'all's big surprise has been? Like, what user surprised you with how they've played so far?
I mean, definitely the Jets. Not that he's a bad user, but that team kind of sucks. So I still think it's very surprising to see him come out and make back-to-back Super Bowls with what should have been a pretty bad roster. Sure, you could say Aaron Rodgers the first season, but even without Aaron Rodgers, he went right back.
Well, I wouldn't say that roster's bad. I mean, they do have Sauce. They have a good DB set, and then you have Quentin Williams in the middle. He did trade away his rookie edge rushers, but I mean, I wouldn't say they're terrible. He yeah, that Aaron Rodgers when he got gunslinger with Rodgers, it was wild. It was quite scary to be honest with you. Um, yeah, playing him against the Super Bowl wasn't fun. It was one of those where kind of just accept defeat as it as it comes.
Yeah.
Um, I've been I've been quite surprised with honestly and truthfully with how the NFC North has played as a whole. I didn't. Now I'm not gonna sit here and say I thought all of them were trash. I mean, I knew that Stick 'Em Up was good, and I knew Dez is just kind of weird. Like I don't know. Like I'll watch him play, and it's absolutely just you're just like wow, like that's not good, and then he'll turn around and end up beating a really good user out of nowhere. Like I'll be straight with you. I didn't think that he'd win the playoff game against Jay last season. I thought he was going to end up losing that, and he blew Jay out. I actually think every divisional winner up until my both my games, I think all of them lost. Every home team lost, and that's crazy with momentum. So being a thing in this game, in this league. Um, so, but yeah, I don't know. Like so far, like this season, I mean, who I just I don't know. I really like this little rookie defensive. I think he's actually a traditional 4-3, but I've turned him into an edge rush, and he's gotten 8 sacks so far.
Yeah, I'm surprised Surprised to see the Bills doing well, 5-0, but then he's never in the playoffs. So
Well, I mean, we can also let me look at who he's played. I got it right here. Schedule wise,
or he's
well,
played the Patriots at least once.
he's played the Patriots twice.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
then he beat the Browns. That's no the Browns is was really weird games where it's you're either gonna get something that's kind of hard to play against or something that's surprisingly easy, and then beat
Yeah,
C-Mart.
he's sneaky good. Ken's sneaky good. Like you can't go in there thinking it's gonna be an easy win because he'll catch you slipping.
Yeah.
Definitely. Um, but yeah, he did beat me, which I'll let him get that. But I had already told Carter. I think during the game, I was like, I got a dev game. So I actually had a dev game the week before for A Chain with against E Mango, but our schedules didn't match up, so I wasn't able to try for it. I wasn't able to get it, then. So
Yeah.
I was literally just forcing it with A Chain, and I guess he felt. I mean, I don't know. You know, he was ready to talk his shit after he won, which I'm like, that's fine. I'm always going to choose the dev over the W, especially this year more than anything else because my team's already kind of limited. I was like, yeah, if I can get the dev, I'm going to get the dev. So, and I think he ended up beating me 40-23 or something like that, something along those lines. But
41-23.
I'm like, yeah. So I wasn't too worried about that because I think I threw maybe 4 picks with my quarterback, and I think 3 of them were me forcing it to the running back. So
Has Tua been nerfed yet?
yeah,
Tua is I think the
Tua was
second person nerfed.
So
no, he was week 3. He was week 3.
who's the
So it
captain of the
was
ship in Miami now?
a rookie quarterback, 65 overall, Matt Kruger, I think his name is.
Okay.
Surprisingly, he played pretty good. I mean, he's not like he has his moments, but like week 1, when I played Grotti, like I just played the rookie because Grotti already said, "Oh, Burrow's suspended." And I was like, "Well, shoot, you want me to just sit 2-2?" And he was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "All right, cool." So I played the rookie, and he had some zip, made some good passes, and I was pleasantly surprised. So I mean, he does all right. He's a good game manager. My hope is like I can build him up and at least have a serviceable backup. That's kind of the goal right now. But the order was Tyreek game 1, Jalen Ramsey game 2, Tua game 3, Jalen Waddle game 4, um, Christian Wilkins. No, Devin A. Chain. Then Christian Wilkins got nerfed this game. So
Yeah, looking at his future schedule, he's got the Grotti next, then Saints, Titans, Jets. So he's actually got a rough schedule up ahead. So I mean, we'll see what he's actually made of. I mean, he's ranked 24th in yards in total offense, 19th in total passing, 18th in total rushing, and 6th in points. So he's doing something right. Defensively, he's 8th in rushing yards, 3rd in points, 7th in yards, and then 13th in passing. So
I will say that that one game, at least when he played me, he got a taste of what we've been talking about, like on some of these previous pods with QB accuracy or inaccuracy. And yeah, I was like, it kind of made me chuckle a little bit because it's like, yeah, when you have Burrow with 99 everything, you're not going to have the same problems that we're having because our quarterbacks are throwing the shit all over the place. But when
Yeah.
he played me, like he had routes open, some of those corner routes and stuff were open, but if there was anybody even close to the quarterback, he was throwing that shit into the bleachers. So, it does make a difference. And like I said, I can definitely see why he was up there for passing after I played him because I saw some of the routes and route combinations he was running, and I'm like, oh yeah, like here he's hitting that, and guys are open, just because the game is how the game is.
yeah, and he's
Yeah.
talking about Grotti. Spacing here just played Grotti. He got to experience the full halfback stretch / zone blast.
It wasn't too bad. His offense wasn't crazy. His defense was good, and Sam Howell just missed. There was a couple bad animations. I mean, it is what it is. It's Madden. There was a fourth down where you would think like 99 overall X Factor DK Metcalf could catch a football, but he doesn't. And then Sam Howell, late in the game, chance to come back, just misses. And then at the bottom of the screen, it gives you that little like perfect accuracy, and it's nowhere near the receiver. So I don't know what the game thinks is going on, but it's not what is actually happening.
Yeah, it's always funny when you see that because it's like, okay, how is it perfect accuracy, but the ball was nowhere near where I wanted it to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it was just kind of crazy, but yeah, I mean, he doesn't. I know he's got that rookie running back now because he traded Nwangu. So at least when I played him, he didn't really spam the stretch left, stretch right as much. I mean, he did. He probably ran it 3 or 4 times when we played, so like it
Yeah, I
wasn't an
heard
issue.
his running back. So he had Ramondre Stevenson in because I forget what his running back's name is, T. McBriddle or something. So
Oh yeah, yeah, something. Maybe it's Murray or something. I don't remember, but yeah, he's got some promise and some potential. I know he can. He's probably gonna develop him pretty good. But like when I played him, it was just halfback check downs and corner routes, and then occasionally he'd try like a cover three beater or something. But yeah, that was pretty. The corner routes are what killed me, or at least was what was getting open for me. Which surprise, surprise, it's Madden 24
yeah,
this year for you.
Yeah, looking at the AFC standings through what are we in weeks 5, 6? The Bills are in first, which as I just said, his schedule is about to pick up pretty heavily. Raw is the number two seed of 4-1. Grotti and Raw have yet to play this season. Noob is 4-1. I'm actually gonna look at Noob's schedule real quick to see who he's played.
Oh, is Noob no longer complaining about his quarterback all the time?
Oh no, you know how it goes. He's played the Titans once, Texans, Chargers, or got a forced win against Chargers, and then played Quinn, beat him 45-35. I think that was one of the games where Quinn said that he was wanting to quit because of inaccuracies, and then he beat the Rams 35-23. He's got the good old Jaguars and his high school defense, and then Texans again, C-Mart, Grotti. Yeah, so he's got that. I think he could either get the number one seed for the playoffs, or he'll be in the top two or number two for sure. And then the Raiders are in first in his division right now, which I mean his division as of right now is just not very good. Looking at it, he's 3-2, Chiefs 2-3, Broncos 2-3, and then the Chargers are 0-5 because we don't have a user for it. So the AFC West is kind of a weird division to say the least.
Yeah.
And after that,
Like,
it's
what happened to, I know JJ was kind of running that division as the Chiefs the first 2 seasons.
well
Who has he played so far?
he's 2-3-1. Uh, he played me week one. Uh, he lost that one 47-31. Lost to Jay 41-14. He beat Havoc 45-21. He tied Kush. Lost 42-45 against the Titans, and then beat the Texans 49-17. He's got Grotti next,
Okay.
a forced win against the Chargers, and then he gets to play the Jaguars in the high school defense.
Oh, so he's had a pretty rough schedule to start, or a tough schedule to start. So I think maybe once he starts getting in divisional play, he may be back up top there.
Yeah, and this may also seem sort of disrespectful, but Raiders are up right now. He hasn't played anybody. And what I mean by that is he has two forced wins because he's already played the Chargers twice, so that's two of his three wins already. He beat the Broncos 34-21. Then he lost 10-42 against the Jets, and then lost 7-41. That seems like Jay's little lucky number against the Giants. And by the looks of his next game is going to be simmed. I'm actually going to go to his game channel now since I have it open. Where is he? Raiders, right there. They're going to fair sim, so he's got Packers coming up, the Jaguars in the high school defense, Texans and Broncos. So the AFC West kind of seems like the NFC West of last season, where it was just kind of like they're in their own world.
Yeah. It's the NFC West this season too.
Oh well, I mean, you're coming out of it.
Yeah, but it's me and nobody else. I'm pretty sure I could go like 8-10 and win the fucking division.
I'll be honest. I actually prefer a good division or other than an easy division. Like last season for Madden was actually really boring for me because the Eagles, uh, when Sky or Watterson was there, it was fun. It was a lot of fun because it was competitive. And then once he left, and then Travis left, we were never able to refill those two teams. So it was just me and Giants, who's the Bills now, and it wasn't fun getting free wins. Oh no, I say that Gladiator joined in as the Commanders, but it still wasn't fun. Just not having, I mean, having 8 free wins or wait, 6 free wins.
You get a real false sense of security when you're just blowing everybody out who sucks, and then you got to go play against someone who's actually good, and you're like, oh, I guess I'm not good.
Yeah, that's kind
Yeah,
of
it doesn't help. It doesn't help like when Carter said, it kind of benefits you more when you have a tougher division because every game you kind of gotta lock in, and your skills I guess a little more sharpened when you do that as opposed to like, all right, I got three like opponents in my division that are pretty much gimmies whenever I play, and I can kind of play differently. I guess you get a little more greedy and try stuff you wouldn't do,
Yeah.
and yeah.
yeah, but it also makes it where sorry about that. Where like for last year, there was a lot of things I was doing in the regular season, and then I would end up playing someone in the playoffs, and it'd be like, whoa, this worked during the regular season. Shit, what do I do now?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I do. It's a lot more fun as well. The trash talking is also a lot more fun than just having one person that you blow out every single time you play.
Yeah,
That's
and
not fun.
I've had this issue lately where like I'm up a lot and then I try and force the ball for stats and I end up letting people come back. But I don't. My quarterback's an X factor now. I don't need to do that anymore. But I'm still playing like instead of just closing the game out, I'm over here like, yeah, I know I'm up 3 scores, but let's throw 2 more picks and make it close.
Yeah,
It's how momentum is this year too. Like, yeah, you don't want to do that because the game switches just like that, and like it's a really a helpless feeling when you can tell like it's working against you.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
it's also really bad with how inconsistently bad the defensive play is. What I mean by that is you will literally have where defense, no matter what, is bad. You will have it where your defenders will at least somewhat react to the ball, and then out of the blue, they don't react at all, and you're just kind of like, oh, okay, well, he just ran that play two drives ago, and you picked it off. Now we're playing stupid. I this game, I don't know. I like it, but I dislike it at the same time. I don't like how easy it is for and this goes for all leagues, it's not just this one because of momentum. I don't like how you can be up big and then out of the blue, it's just like your team goes full dummy and you just all momentum just goes the other team, and it's just like, oh, okay, well, we're just gonna
Yep.
forget how to play. But I mean, that's kind of been my issue is that. But looking at the NFC standings as of right now, I have the 1 seed at 6-0. Spacing did have the 2 seed, but he'll drop down into the 4 seed after this week. It's actually pending if the Quinn and the Saints play. Saints would have the number 3 seed with 4-1. Jay being at the 4 seed at 4-1 as well. Then playoff seedings would actually be Panthers at 3-2, or actually he'll drop some. He'll be 3-3, so it'll be Lions at 4-2. Packers may drop. Speaking of the Packers got by with one with or not Packers, but Cowboys. I feel bad for him. I really do. That 2-0 force loss or concede off out of the game crashing.
Oh yeah, can we talk about that for a minute? Like what's going on with that? Did they fix it?
Apparently it's fixed now, but I honestly and truthfully think I would have quit. I would have pulled I would have done a C-Mart for Madden 20 for the remainder of this game. Just I'm not gonna play.
I'm just here so I won't get
Yeah,
fined.
I just have a green name. I'm not here.
Yeah.
I'm just glad that, I mean, I guess the only silver lining was like when it happened, it was a regular season game. I can't imagine if it was a postseason game, playoff game, or something like that, and it happened. Like, yeah, I'm definitely hanging it up after
Yeah,
that.
like could you
That
imagine
happened.
you're up one score, you're driving? Because I mean, obviously we all play different in the playoffs. I think everyone here could admit they play different in the playoffs. It's just it means something different. And you're driving up the field to make it a two-score game, and your game just crashes, and it's just, oh well, you take the concede. I'm done.
Yeah, so in a different league, I was in two Maddens ago. So we've been Madden 21. That happened in the Super Bowl. The game disconnected while they were playing the Super Bowl with like 2 minutes left, and it was like a one-score game. So they were gonna run it back and try and get it close to where it was at, down to the fourth quarter or whatever. And there was a glitch where like they kicked the ball off at half, and then the game just ended, and it gave the one of the teams a 1-0 victory. Like you can't even score 1 point in football.
So something that happened to me in Madden 22 in the Super Bowl against AV, the Super Bowl that doesn't count. The one that nobody was playing. Him and I,
Yeah.
I'll never forget. It was the craziest thing that's ever happened. He, I blocked I blocked a field goal, got tackled. The game registered it as a safety and gave him the ball back.
I remember that. Yeah, that was so weird.
No, it was an extra point. I'm sorry. It was an extra point. I blocked an extra point, so I'm supposed to get the ball back. Registers to me, to him as a safety, and he got ball back. I will never forget that. I was dumbfounded. But C-Mart, you weren't. I think you were busy whenever I asked this. Who's been your surprise so far? This deep into the league. Who surprised you with how well they're doing?
From this season or just overall in general?
Well, it can be this season or this Madden.
Um, I would say, I mean, I hate to admit it, but I'd say Bills, just because at least 2 out of 3 seasons so far he's been decent. So I don't know, jury's still kind of out on him there. Then also, I think the Jay Caliente dude, just from the fact that I really wasn't sure how good he was or not, but he seemed to be pretty legit. Uh, who else? Who else? I'd also say Des. Like, I mean, I know he was competitive last year, I guess you could say, but I don't think anyone really thought of him as like a true contender last year. But at least so far this year, he's done a pretty good job of developing that team, and he's always going to draft well. I think he's proven now that we may have to like just concede that he's good at scouting the draft or whatever, because he seems to draft well every year. So I think those are probably the three that I'd say right at the top of my head. I might be missing someone, but yeah.
Yeah. Spacing gave the Jets. He was surprised at how well the Jets have played so far, and I gave off the entire NFC North. I've been quite surprised with how competitive the NFC North has been. It's it's been something, that's for sure. And then who do you guys? So we kind of established who's who in this with this Madden. Uh, who do you guys who that hasn't won a Super Bowl yet? Is there anyone that you think will come out and surprise everybody and win one?
I think it's going to be the usual suspects. Even though there are some surprises, I think once you get to the playoffs, it's going to be, like once you get to like conference championship stuff, I think it's going to be the same usual suspects. Like, I don't know if someone's going to come out of the blue. I mean, I guess if I had to think about it, I'd say maybe I could see maybe like the Titans or maybe again the Giants. I could maybe see a surprise run out of them. one of those two guys. But other than that, I think it's just going to be kind of the same core group as usual.
I could see Quinn coming out and winning a Super Bowl. Not that he is surprising, but like with the way that his team started, it seemed like maybe it was going to take him a bit longer to build him back up. So if he sticks with it, I think that he will. He'll be able to.
So yeah, if Quinn stays locked in, yeah, I can see that too. I think his problem is like he checks out of games early. Like if something like one or two plays can really get him to just be like, screw this, and
Yeah,
then he's just like whatever at that point.
Yeah, that's what I was telling Spacing that in the green room, or say green room, before we started. Uh, that's assuming he ends up staying. You know, he's already mentioned a few times that he's already kind of wanting to quit because the way that the sim is playing.
that's
Um,
how fucking Noobdini was too. He's like, I'm just gonna quit. Whatever. Shut up and play.
yeah, I really don't know who could come out and win a bowl.
Once Noob gets once Noob gets Anthony Richardson, the X factor, and he gets the actual good abilities, the game will be more enjoyable for him. He's kind of already halfway there, so yeah, I think once he gets that last bit, like he'll be locked in because he's pretty much set right now with Jamar Chase and the other guy that he got that's 99 speed. That I don't know had like 36 touchdowns receiving last year or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll change for him. Quinn, I mean, I know he plays the game more, so I don't know. Like I think for him, he just overall doesn't like how the game plays.
Yeah, I think Straw Hat could win one.
I don't know if that team is in a position to do any kind of winning.
Well, he's 4-1 with them right now. I mean,
But
people
what's his schedule look like?
people forget he won one in Madden 22
Yeah, the first one.
with Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, on the Saints too, wasn't he still the
Yeah, he was
Saints?
the Saints. He won with Colin
It was
Kaepernick.
the same.
Oh, I forgot
He
I think
about
that was
that.
I
He
think I was
played
the
like the
Cardinals that
Raiders or
year.
something.
Well, I know he beat me in the playoffs. I think he beat me in the conference championship game actually, or maybe it might have been a divisional round. But yeah, his I remember it because that was a corner route year too, of just roll out corners, and Colin Kaepernick was killing. Now,
he
mind
Yeah.
you, obviously the inaccuracies weren't as bad back then. So yeah, he might have been the last guy to win with like a non-ability quarterback. Now that I think about it.
Grotti did, and I'm just gonna say it now. Grotti did because if he listens to this, he's gonna. I won it last year
Oh,
with Mac Jones.
yeah, I forgot. My bad.
Yeah, don't say my bad to me. Say it to him.
Yeah,
I could care less, but I remember getting my ass kicked in Madden 22 by him. He whipped my ass with that Saints team, and that was whenever I was a Patriots. Um,
Wait, you were on like 4 teams that fucking year.
yeah, it was fun year. Um, but no, he got a force win or something against the 49ers. He beat the Cardinals 31-24, beat the Panthers 42-14, lost spacing 27-44, and then beat BL 21-16. He's got Quinn, C-Mart, Bills coming up.
Oh my god, I would love to just a quick aside for mine in the Saints game. He dropped back to throw 72 times. He had 63 passing attempts and I had 9 sacks, which
Uh,
means that he called 72 passing plays. That's just a lot of offense.
I'll be honest. One thing that I've noticed about a lot of users, it's not just this league either. There's a lot of bad football that's played. As in, it's easy situation to take points, and you go for it and you don't. I've seen that just happen so many times. And I mean, if you're dropping back 72 times and you're not winning, that's not a recipe for a win.
Yeah, it's
That's
absolutely
not a
How
good
do you even
recipe at
get
insane.
that
all.
many plays?
I don't know. That's
How do
another
you even
thing.
get that many plays in the game? Because I don't think I've ever had that many. in a game. Like
A
that's
lot of
crazy.
turnovers in the red zone, so I could come out and just score right away, and then he could get the ball back.
So did you have like a lot of one
Yeah, I had
possessions?
like I think he had 6 picks. I had 5 or something. Like we're it was one of those games where I was up a big margin at some point, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna go for stats now.
I mean, I'm looking at a screen. I don't know when this happened. I'm about to look. But Zach Wilson threw for 707 yards.
Yeah, I'd love to see what user that was against.
It was against the Jaguars in the high school defense.
Oh yeah, that's right.
In the stat line, it was, or in the box score, it was 680 passing yards with 59 rushing yards. That's
It's a
just,
light work.
that's ridiculous. And then people wonder why there's leagues that have, like, actual rules against, like, stat padding.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy to me.
Well, I think what helped with the Saints for the 72 passing attempts is he only completed like 30 of those. Like he had a 50% completion rate, so the clock doesn't move when that happens.
That's tough. That's really tough. I can't imagine throwing 72 times. And
I
if
can't
I
imagine having 72 plays. What do you do
That's
with
true. We have a
72
play call limit.
attempts?
We have a four play call limit, even with it a 10 cooldown. Like you can only do it
Yeah,
4 times.
I'm
Yeah,
running out of plays to call.
it's, that's crazy. I know Trevor Lawrence is hurt. Looking at this, I didn't even notice this. Trevor Lawrence is hurt. But yeah, I mean, looking at before the holidays, I think there will 100% be someone else winning the NFC North. I'm taking 4 losses to divisional opponents. So it's either going to be stick 'em up or well, it could be anyone. They're still all in the race for it. Um, NFC South. I mean, that's right now. It's all up for grabs. The Saints are in first with it, and then the Panthers. I mean, that's another. The Panthers are actually winning some games right now. He's 3-2. He's got a forced win against the Commanders. He's got a loss against the Saints and Falcons. He beat the OG and the Cardinals, and then he ended up beating Quinn. That was the game that Quinn was going to quit.
And that's heat check is the Panthers, right?
I don't know. I just know H3.
Who's the Giants guy? He did really well last year. He's doing good again this year, but he
That's
doesn't
Jay.
talk a lot.
That's Jay.
Oh, Jay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is he? I mean, he's got to be good, right? Just no postseason success.
As of right now, no postseason success, but he is. I mean, he's I'm gonna sound like a dick. He hasn't beaten anybody this season. He's
All his opponents are trash.
well, he lost to the Cowboys or Diamond Dallas OG. Which I want to say this. I played against him. His team is fucking loaded. Like
Yeah.
so every defensive lineman has an ability. And then he has abilities in the back. Like let me tell you his defensive line. Micah Parsons at right end, X Factor. Mozzie Smith at defensive tackle, which I don't even know how the fuck he's an X Factor, but he is. Cameron Hayward, X Factor. DeMarcus Lawrence, superstar. Then but his secondary is not as good. I mean, he's got Trayvon Diggs, and that's really it. For like abilities, but like that defensive line is scary. And then offensively, he's got a superstar tight end, superstar receiver, and then Trey Lance is playing better. So it's been like playing against him was really tough. And I mean, it's kind of we got a lot of flack by people for saying that. Oh, Madden. If a team's really good overall wise with abilities, like Madden will kind of play for you. I mean, he was getting blown out last year without all these abilities. And this year, year one, he made the conference championship. Year two, didn't even make the playoffs because he was building guys up. Now he's back at where he can actually do something. And
How's his quarterback situation? I don't know who he has.
Trey Lance,
And like, is he up to superstar or anything?
he's a star, but he's
Okay.
he's an 83 overall. So, I mean,
I don't think I've played him yet. I don't think I've played Cowboys yet, but it doesn't sound like it'd be a fun experience. So
I know I haven't played him
yeah,
yet. I haven't gotten that 1030 CST main.
Yeah, that's that's what I was saying is like playing right now. He's kind of just he has a really good team behind him. But I mean, we'll see what Jay's made of in this coming up game. He's got Quinn next. He actually has he has three tough games. He's got Quinn, Spacing, and Cowboys again, so he can make up for whatever happened. And then he's got Havoc, which I still think Havoc could run the division if he actually played. He'll play
Yeah,
the
he's been real flaky, but he says after the holidays he'll have more time. So here's hoping.
and then he plays Dez, stick
I
him
think he had,
up.
I think he had some school stuff going on and work, I believe, and he was having to be in hotels and stuff like that. And yeah, it's kind of. I've tried playing before on hotel Wi-Fi, and it's not a fun experience.
Somehow Kush does it though, with no issues
I don't.
most of the time.
I mean, Kush only has I think 2 wins and a tie.
Yeah, but I don't think he's
Yeah, I
out
don't.
here lagging the whole game.
Well, what's crazy is Kush has a top 10 offense. He's 10th in points, 5th in total yards, 5th in passing. In rushing, he's 19th, so maybe not a top 10, but defensively, he's awful. He's 31st in points, 21st in total yards, 17th in passing, and then
Because he
29th in
likes his
rushing.
man-to-man blitz, and all you got to do is
Oh,
throw a streak on the field.
yeah, that's not that good
Yeah,
this year.
he's always had bad defense though. Like,
Yeah,
like that's like a Kush staple because, like Spacing said, what he likes to do is he'll just either play man press or he'll just blitz. Now, last year probably helped him a little more because we knew man was OP. But like, yeah, Kush is either blitzes or he'll do like some zone blitz or some blitz that you can see coming from a mile away. And if you know what you're doing, you can pick it apart pretty easy. You
yeah.
know, like he beat me this year, but I mean, when I played, I think in season 1 or maybe season 2, and that's just because I was being stubborn. And I'm like, there's no way he's pressing 99 speed Tyreek and 98 speed Jalen Waddle, and I can't beat him deep. And the times my guys did beat him deep, Tua would overthrow him, and I'm like, what the hell? But I mean, yeah, Kush is, yeah, he's weird, man. Like, I think he could be better, but I don't know. I guess he just is what he is.
Yeah, so far, we'll end on this. Who's been the most disappointing that you thought would end up actually doing somewhat well this Madden and hasn't he just hasn't panned out? Hard question.
I'm looking
Yeah,
at the
I gotta
teams.
think about it for a little bit.
Okay,
Uh,
I'll
because
start.
you can't say like someone like Ra, because Ra, I mean, he's having success. He just hasn't won a
Well,
Super Bowl.
Ross
But
made every conference championship. I
yeah,
wouldn't
it
sit
says
here
a
and say
lot about him.
that's not. I was not going to sit here and say that's bad. He's made every conference championship. You know,
The expectations for Ra though are Super Bowl or bust.
maybe in his mindset, 100%. But I mean, what I'm trying to get at is if we're playing at a success rate. I mean, it hasn't. I mean, he year one he lost to the Super Bowl champion in the Jets, and then he lost to the Jets again. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm not trying to offend anybody in the AFC, but it's hard to argue and say that the Jets is not the best player in the AFC or user in the AFC. Until someone else makes it to a Super Bowl, it's hard to say that.
yeah.
Um,
I guess I'm disappointed with Noobdini. Feel like he should be doing better, but now that he's got Anthony Richardson where he wants him, I'm sure that he'll stop having issues.
well, he's made the playoffs every season too.
I'd like to see a little less crying out of him every time he loses a game, but that's
I
just me.
I would honestly say that mine's Ruben, IDK, whatever he's going by now, or the Texans. I think he's been the most disappointing. He's usually
He sucks every year.
well, he's a user that by year three he starts picking things up and he starts doing well. This man, on the other hand, I mean, he hasn't made the. I mean, let's look at his his record since he
Oh yeah, like his coach record or whatever. So
yeah I can
since the league started.
so in
Are you talking
20
about Texas?
yeah so in the first
Yeah.
season he had 1, 2, 3 he only had 4 wins. Last season he ended up I think he only had 2 wins, and as of right now he's two and what is this 2-4.
He definitely should have beat. I'll tell you that much. Like, I couldn't. he was using Will Anderson, and for some reason, Will Anderson was just bull rushing my offensive lineman the whole game. And then, like, I think CJ Stroud hurt on like maybe the third play of the game, and his backup. I think his backup was like a 68 overall. Came in there was just dropping dimes, and I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Well,
So
I
at least
do.
when I played him, I was like, dude, why is he like? I didn't realize like I was kind of wondering like why the hell is his record so bad? Because he seemed pretty decent when I played him, but I don't know. Maybe some users just match it better against others.
Yeah, it's actually not a bad observation.
He well, I mean, maybe that just goes to show that last year how much he needed or he relied on edge threat because he had Will Anderson in that draft class last season, and I mean he was winning the NFC North with you and the Packers, and I mean he went from making the playoffs and losing in the playoffs to now not making the playoffs at all. So I think that's why it's mine. I mean, over on the NFC side, I mean, I don't think there's really has been a major disappointment. I think OG's been kind of surprising with how much he's struggling. Granted, it's the Cardinals. That's tough no matter what. Um, I,
I think for me, that's why it's hard for me to label anybody right now because we're still kind of early in the cycle, and I don't even think OG started with this. I think he ended up picking up the Cardinals. I believe
he
I
did.
could be wrong. So, his timeline was a little shortened because of that. I know someone like Cutter, where I know he's a better player than he's demonstrated, but he basically threw one season away tanking, and then I mean, on one hand, it's like okay, he's able to get the quarterback that he got or that he wanted, but now it's like the rest of his division kind of got a year head start on him, and like you said, it's probably the toughest division right now. Like you got Alex, you got Dez, you got Carter. Like by default, he may have a tough time, getting in there just because he's got 6 tough games a year, basically. Not to
Yeah.
count whoever else he may play outside of his conference or his division. I mean, so it's kind of tough. Like I'm thinking about, I don't know if there's anybody that I'd really label. I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I will say this, and I'm gonna butcher this Bobby Bowden quote, but you know, bad teams lose big. When it comes to turning a program around. You start losing big, then you start losing close games, then you start winning close games, then you start winning big. As of right now, he's in his losing close games phase. He should have beat Grotti. He lost in overtime. Should have beaten Dez, was up against Dez, ended up losing. Should have beat Stick 'em Up, was up late, ended up losing. So either stuff will end up turning around for him or he'll crash and fall. That's just typically how it goes. You know, you either turn it around or you'll crash and fall. That's just how stuff goes, especially with Madden.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're getting to that point now where you're going to start to see, you might see some guys falling off. I think we're getting to that point where some guys are going to probably be like, yeah, I'm never going to be able to compete with this team. Da 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 da. Like they're kind of resigned to their fate. So you might see some guys start to fall off or leave, or yeah, I could
Yeah, I
definitely
think
foresee it
usually by the
happening.
time the Super Bowl rolls around, like the real life Super Bowl, is when guys start to kind of hit the wall for Madden and disappear until the next Madden comes out.
Yeah, and I actually think that this Madden in particular, I'm not trying to speak ill. I think that this Madden in particular, L&D will stop operations sooner rather than it usually does. I say that because July is when it's NCAA is rumored to be out. I don't see anybody playing when that game is even
If
remotely coming out.
NCA, yeah, if
No,
NCA
it
is
is
good,
coming out. It doesn't matter if it's good or not. People that are
oh
fans of
yeah,
that game, they're buying it. This will be the highest
No, I mean
grossing NCAA game.
at this point, I could see like by April, like
we're gonna have to
being
get
on
an
its last leg.
LND NCAA league go NCAA league going.
I mean, I send C-Mart. I send C-Mart every single time I see something about the college football. I just told them actually every time this particular TikTok comes across my screen, you're getting it because it's such a high. It's a fan edited welcome menu or startup menu, and it's so good. But yeah, I think that it'll end up doing that. I don't think anyone's gonna dominate like last year personally. At this very moment, talking to you, I don't think anyone's gonna dominate like last Madden, like Raw did,
Mm.
making 5 or 6 Super Bowls in a row and doing what he did. I think competition wise, it's more evened out. Because NFC wise, I think I can come out of it. Spacing could come out of it. Quinn can come out of it. Uh, if Straw Hat's as good as he's kind of making himself out to be. I think he can come out of it. Diamond Dallas or the Cowboys already kind of made it known that he can make it out of it, and then like a surprise like stick 'em up with the Lions can make it out of it as well. So I really do think that the NFC wise competition spread out. AFC wise, uh, right now it's still the Raw and Jets show. Noob can make a name. C-Mart can do something. If Grotti can win a playoff game, then he can do something. I think that's been kind of the head scratcher. Um, because I think when it comes to the AFC, has just been kind of like When it's more like the NFC of last season, where you really didn't know who was out of the AFC last season who was going to come out because it was either the AFC North or someone out of the AFC South, but you didn't know who was going to be out of the AFC North, and then NFC was either me or Raw, but ended up being Raw. But this game's ticking away here. C-Mart's game with the against the Browns. Any closing thoughts, fellas? Oh, you went to overtime? I thought the, I thought the game
We
was
got more
over.
time to talk. Let's go.
I thought the game was over. He missed the kick.
No,
Oh, you talking about me?
Yeah, you missed
Oh
the
yeah,
kick.
yeah,
And
bro.
9-9 going into the going into the OT.
Bro,
I
it
think
was a
C-Mark
struggle.
called it a long time ago when he said the usual suspects are going to have success and other people are not. I think the same people are rising to the top as they do every year. So I guess the question is just who's going to win the next Super Bowl.
Yeah, I will say that I'm looking forward to. It kind of sucked because I finally got Tua to like get good abilities, and I didn't actually get to play with them this year. So
Yeah, that's tough.
I was like, well, that sucks. Because I actually had 3 games that I was eligible to play with them, and then actually 2 games. And the first one I benched just because of, like, you know he's not playing with the guy, so I'll bench mine. And then the next game I think was against Emango, and we didn't get to play the game because our schedules conflicted. And then he got nerfed the next game after that, and I was like, shit. So I didn't get a chance to play with him, but I'm looking forward to next year, at least for my team. I think if this year goes according to plan, some of these young guys that are playing now will get some devs to them, and I'll have some quality depth when the starters come back next year. So this year is just kind of lost. I'm in dev mode. Like I'm trying to win though, because it's kind of funny because I do like the increased challenge that it's providing. Like I'm having to like think a lot more harder when I'm playing. Like I have to get creative with some of the stuff that I do.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's giving
fun.
me a different. Yeah, it really is, man. Because it's like like I'm literally at the point. If I told people my roster, I have my one quarterback. So if he gets hurt, I have a punter coming in. I have one running back. He's like a 68 overall or something like that. My backup is my fullback. I got freaking 2 actual wide receivers. My slot receiver is my tight end. Um,
Nice.
so yeah, it's been interesting.
Man, I now this won't happen, but let's say for in some godforsaken reason, Seymour ends up winning the Super Bowl with his current team, with it being nerfed.
Won't happen, but okay.
That yeah, it won't happen. I mean, no offense. I don't think you're getting past the Jets or Raw with the current state of your team. Or Grotti or Noob. Is the goat discussion does it get brought up? Because Raw is a self-proclaimed goat.
I would call C-Mart the GOAT if he won a Super Bowl with that fucking team. Are you kidding me? That team sucks.
Yeah, that's true. But I also want to say this before we sign off here. When I was talking about competition being spread out with the NFC, Jay is also on that list. I completely forgot about him. At 5-1, I think he'll be able to make a splash, especially this postseason. I think last year was kind of I wouldn't say a fluke, but I don't think he expected what he got, and that ended up. But Space and do you have any closing thoughts?
No, I got nothing. I would like to say if we had to pick one person to win the Super Bowl this year, who are we picking? I'm gonna say the Bears repeat. I'm gonna say the Bears do it again.
I don't. I don't think I will. But I'm
Gotta
also being
have
humble.
confidence.
I'm also being humble. Um,
I could see a Jets Bears third matchup.
I don't know.
I could see.
If I was to sit here and pick who makes the Super Bowl, I could see Raw getting over the hump. That's been his kryptonite is when it comes to the Jets. I don't think now he could lose to anybody in the playoffs. I think Grotti can beat him, and this isn't me disrespecting anybody. Everyone can have an off day. I think Grotti could beat him. I think um who else? I think Noob could beat him. I do think those things can happen. So I do think that this is going to be the one that Raw gets over the hump. And if I'm not picking myself, I think that it could be spacing this season.
But somebody's got faith.
Well, I think
Well,
it's
I will say this. I will say this though, just as we're closing, everybody's teams are getting stronger. Well, a lot of other guys' teams they're finally getting their team to kind of a place that they want it to. So it could be some upsets. Like I said, like Noob for example, like he's getting his team where he wants them, and I think it probably not maybe not this season, but by next season, I think he'll definitely be someone that he'd probably have to watch out for as a threat to like make some noise.
Yeah.
yeah. It'll be definitely interesting. But closing thoughts on everything. I'm proud of how everybody is actually playing. There's really not a lot of force wins being handed out repeatedly by one single user or anything. Uh, it's been good. Now, obviously, getting one more person would be great, but we're unfortunately not in that situation currently. I think that this has been a good. I think it's been a good Madden for everybody. I don't have any complaints about anyone. I mean, I think scheduling could be better across the board for everybody, literally everybody. I think scheduling, but it's the holidays, so I do hope that everyone has a good holiday season. Um, Everybody stay safe. Don't want any, I don't want any girlfriends, wives, or family members getting into the Discord group chat having to give us bad news. So everybody be safe. Have a good time. Until next time, peace out.
And I